Alex Ritson, and in the early hours of Saturday, the 13th of October, these are our main stories. Donald Trump says he hopes the American evangelical pastor freed by Turkey will soon be back in the United States. The US president has suggested he'll speak to the Saudi king soon and raise the issue of a journalist reportedly killed in Turkey. Several nations accused of severe human rights abuses have joined the United Nations Human Rights Council. Also in this podcast,
there is really overuse of cesarean sections up to 40, 50, 60%, which is not needed really.
The use of caesarean sections to deliver babies has reached unprecedented proportions according to new reports. President Trump has welcomed the release of an American pastor who's now on a flight home after being freed by a Turkish court. Andrew Brunson was at the centre of a major diplomatic row between Washington and Ankara after he was convicted on terror charges. He'd been given a 3.5-year prison sentence, but was then freed on the grounds he'd already spent 2 years in custody. Mr. Brunson has now flown out of the country. I asked our correspondent, Mark Lowen, how Turkey came to this decision.
Well, it seems really that the political and economic pressure that Washington had been putting on Ankara finally was too much for Turkey to bear, and that Andrew Brunson had to be released in order to ease the relationship with Washington. Donald Trump was infuriated by his continued detention here. Over the summer, the US slapped sanctions on 2 Turkish ministers, hiked tariffs on Turkish steel and aluminium, leading to reciprocal measures from Ankara. The relationship between 2 NATO allies nosedived, and with it the Turkish currency that has lost almost 40% of its value this year against the US dollar. And really it was seen as the only way out really for Turkey to kind of normalize its relationship with the US was to release Pastor Brunson, and that despite the fact that President Erdogan has consistently insisted that he could not meddle with the decision of an independent judiciary here. But it's pretty clear, I think, to everybody, and in fact reports coming out from Washington, that a deal was struck between the 2 governments to release him today.
Yes, independent judiciary, but we have news that various witnesses retracted their testimony, which is what allowed for this release.
He was detained in October 2016, and a case was built against him based on protected secret witnesses who were consistently said by his legal team to be completely unreliable. And that is pretty much what turned out to be the case today, as one by one they came into court and retracted bits of their testimony. Now, was that a convenient way of paving the way to the court releasing him, or was there a genuine